Xin chào mọi người. Hôm nay chúng ta sẽ tiếp tục luyện nói shadowing nha. Sử dụng kỹ thuật shadowing nha. Trước đấy chúng ta sẽ luyện thêm một chút bằng tiếng Việt đi. Bởi vì mình cũng muốn nói năng trôi chảy hơn trong tiếng Việt. Nói về gì đây? Thời tiết à? Ngày hôm nay là ngày trời đỡ nắng hơn ngày hôm qua. Oh my, trời ơi. Đây là chủ đề mà những người hướng nội nhạt nhẽo như mình sẽ nói đấy, khi mà nói chuyện với người khác. Hôm nay trời mát đấy nhỉ. Hôm nay không nóng như hôm qua. Yeah. Boring, chán quá. Đây là lý do vì sao mà mình muốn luyện nói nhiều hơn, trở thành một người thú vị hơn. Nói chung để trở thành một người thú vị hơn thì nói chung là cần nhiều luyện tập hơn. Rồi mình cần có nhiều kiến thức hơn, có nhiều trải nghiệm hơn thì mới chia sẻ được, đúng không? Nó là một cái hành trình mà cần một thời gian rất là dài và cần sự kiên trì nỗ lực mỗi ngày. Và mình đã làm như vậy. Cảm ơn các bạn đã vào đây và xem. Nếu các bạn xem rồi các bạn thấy mình nên cải thiện ở điểm nào thì comment đi, đừng ngại. Có lẽ là các bạn là nữ à? Có lẽ phần lớn người xem sẽ là nữ. Và các bạn ngại chăng? Đừng ngại nha. Hôm nay mình cảm thấy rất là... Mấy ngày hôm nay mình bắt đầu uống cà phê. Mình bắt đầu có thú uống cà phê mọi người. Dậy sớm buổi sáng sau rồi làm một cốc cà phê, cảm giác học tập với là mọi thứ nó tỉnh táo. Ok, chúng ta sẽ bắt đầu shadowing nha. Có lẽ đây là lúc mọi người sẽ thoát ra và không có coi nữa. Nhưng mà thôi, mình làm như thế này là để cải thiện khả năng nói tiếng Anh của mình mà. Mình biết là hầu hết mọi người sẽ không xem đâu. Nhưng mà mình kiểu khi mà đăng lên Facebook như này, mình vẫn có một cái kiểu nó có một cái gì đấy trong đầu mình vẫn nghĩ là sẽ có một ai đấy sẽ xem đấy. Cho nên mình sẽ có động lực để quay hơn. Chứ còn nếu không đăng lên Facebook á, ví dụ hôm nào đấy mệt chẳng hạn, thì chưa chắc đã quay đâu, đã luyện đâu. Nhưng mà vì đã đăng lên Facebook rồi, mặc dù mình đăng lên thì view nó cũng lẹt đẹt lắm, và mình cũng không biết là người ta có coi hết không. Nhưng mà mình cũng có một cái hy vọng ấy, sau đó nó có một cái động lực để thúc đẩy mình quay ấy. Và mình sẽ dồn cái năng lượng của mình vào đấy để nói một cách nó nhiều năng lượng hơn, để diễn đạt như thế nào đấy để cho hay, cho thú vị, để thỏa mãn cái tôi của mình, để thể hiện là mình giỏi tiếng Anh đấy, để thể hiện là mình đẹp trai, rồi mình người mình đẹp như này, mình nói hay như này, người ta thấy như vậy người ta thích mình. Kiểu đấy là cái suy nghĩ trong đầu mình như vậy. Thì nó khiến cho nó thúc đẩy mình quay được 30 ngày rồi, 1 tháng rồi. Nếu không đăng lên mình nghĩ không làm được không. Trong 1 tháng vừa qua có nhiều hôm mình cảm thấy mệt ấy. Và nếu như không đăng Facebook có lẽ mình sẽ đã không quay rồi. Nhưng mà vì đã đăng lên rồi nên nó tạo cho mình một thói quen, nó bắt mình phải làm. Yeah, đúng rồi, ok. Chúng ta sẽ tiếp tục shadowing nha. Hôm nay sẽ là một tập mới, có nghĩa là ngữ pháp. Tập này có tên là Grammar is killing your English speaking. Here's what works instead. Ngữ pháp đang giết chết khả năng nói tiếng Anh của bạn. Hãy dùng cách này. Thay vì học ngữ pháp, hãy dùng cách này. Grammar is killing your English speaking. Here's what works instead. Right, tập này bao lâu? Tập này 46 phút. Ok, mình sẽ quay 2 hôm, mỗi hôm 23 phút. Và nãy giờ chúng ta đã luyện thuyên được 5 phút rồi. Cộng với 23 phút nữa sẽ là 30 phút đấy. Ok. Được rồi. Bắt đầu nha mọi người. Ok, shadowing, ngữ pháp đang giết chết khả năng nói tiếng Anh của bạn. Hãy dùng cách này, thay vì thế hãy dùng cách này. Hãy dùng cách này instead. Ok.
You're in a job interview. It's going well.
Okay. You're in a job interview. It's going well. The interviewer asks you, tell me about a difficult problem you tried to solve. And your mind goes blank. You start thinking about grammar rules. Is it I have saw? Past tense or present perfect? While you're thinking about grammar rules, the interviewer is staring at you, waiting. You say nothing, or you give a terrible answer. The interview ends, you did not get the job. What happened? Why did you fail? You know the grammar rules. But truth is, grammar study destroy your English speaking. And today I'm going to prove it to you and give you the method that actually works. Let's go. Okay. So grammar study creates a mental block. This is the problem, right? You get all these rules in your head. How many years have you studied grammar rules? And how many have you studied and tried to memorize? Probably hundreds. And what happens is, when you try to speak, your brain starts analyzing English, analyzing grammar rules, and that creates mental interference, right? That's what causes you to hesitate, stop, pause, even go blank completely, and say nothing at all, right? This is what causes you to freeze up. And this is even worse in high pressure situations, such as speaking to a native speaker or a job interview, anything like that. So I remember once I had a student named Gladys. It's a story that's in my book. And Gladys was super dedicated student, right? This is way before effortless syntax. I was just using normal textbook method, teaching at a school at the evening, so within the United States in Georgia. And she would come to my class, and after class, she would always try to talk to me, and she would show me all this extra study she was doing at home. She was just studying at home a lot, and I do a lot of extra study. And she was really focusing on grammar rule, taking notes and notes and notes, page and pages of notes. And I thought, well, this is going to be my star student, so I can't wait to see how much he improved. This is going to improve. Of course, it's going to improve. Look at all this work she's doing. And at that time, I was just using the normal grammar translation method, following with the textbook. So most of my lessons, most of my classes will focus on grammar rules. So it would be, okay, today we're in chapter 5. We're going to study the present perfect. We'll do to discuss all the rules of using the present perfect, when you do, when you don't, when you do the practice exercise, right? Normal stuff. Well, this is fast forward 6 months later. As usual, Gladys waits after class to try to chat with me a little bit. And she's telling some simple story. I don't remember the exact words. She said something like, yesterday I go to the store. And she spoke very choppy way. In other words, a lot of long, unnatural pauses. Yesterday I go to store. I see, that kind of speaking. And I just suddenly realized at that time, I thought, she has not improved at all. Her speaking is just as bad. 6 months later, after 6 months of my classes and 6 months of very intensive independent grammar study, her speaking was just as bad. Zero improvement, none. And this was an important point for in time for me, an important moment when I realized something's wrong. Something's wrong. Like this is this method. What she's doing and what I'm doing in class is not working. It's not helping. They were there. There was a class to help them speaking. They were immigrants, I think, from Venezuela, and they were there to speak English so they can live in the United States and get better jobs. So I realized, man, this grammar study, all the grammar study did not help her. Didn't help her fluency. She couldn't speak more quickly or more effortlessly, and it did not help her grammar either, because we're still making the same grammar mistakes that she had 6 months before. And a little while after that, I was coming to do another class, and preparing for the class, and look at the chapter I was supposed to do, and the chapter about articles, right? There, a, and, or there, or the, the, right? And then I still remember it was such a strong memory that there were 2 pages of rules and explanation on how and when to use the word the, perhaps the most common word in English, certainly one of the top 10. And this is great. First of all, most of the rules I didn't even know and never had ever thought about them. And then there's no way I could remember them all, myself, a native speaker. And then realized, there's no way that my student can learn and memorize 2 pages of rules about the word there. And remember all of that every time they speak English, because use the word there in, at least half the sentences that we use. And every time you need the word there, every time you have to think about it and analyze it and remember those rules. Should I use it? Should I not? And impossible. It would create so many interference in your brain to destroy your fluency, and you're not going to use it better anyway. It's not going to help at all. So, huge problem. And this is when I think I need to change my teaching, because this isn't going to work. So here's the natural learning truth. This is what I discovered later in my teaching and in my career as I start to do more research and try different methods. Is that, first of all, native speaker, we don't study grammar rules at all when we're learning to speak. Where we should study some grammar rules, it's at the high school level for writing, for more academic writing. But that's after we're already completely fluent when we start doing that. Number 2, children don't memorize grammar rules or learn them at all, right? 27 years old, almost 7, and they know 0. They could not tell me. They don't know what the past tense is, but of course they use it correctly. How can they use it correctly? Do it. It is a skill, but they don't know the rule, that they can't explain it, right? This is natural learning. There's actually a lot of research about this. If you're interested in the research, check out a guy, do a search for Dr. Stephen Krashen, Krashen. He did huge amount of research on this topic, showing that all this kind of analysis and knowledge and what he called linguistic study analysis does not help you actually improve your speaking skill at all. And we need is natural learning, right? The way that babies learn a language. The way that native speaker learn speaking and grammar. Of course, we do use grammar, we use correctly, but we don't learn it as rule. We don't analyze it. So what's the difference between real English and that textbook English that Gladys was studying and learning, right? First of all, native speak, we break the formal rule all the time. Okay, so again, what you're learning in your textbook is a very unnatural kind of English for speaking, certainly. I'll give you an example. I've been playing around with an AI chat, like a language learning chatbot. And I was doing in English. I wanted to test it for, what I recommend to you for you to use. So I did a little situation where I'm in a restaurant, so that the AI says, "Hi, I'm your waitress today. Welcome to the restaurant. What would you like to drink?" And I said, "Yeah, okay, I'll have a water." And give me a minute. I want to look at the menu. Totally common, natural response from me. Obviously, I'm a native speaker, right? It immediately gave me a grammar correction, telling me not to use the article with the word water. We don't say a water. I thought, oh my God, I'm imagining a student doing this, and they use this natural phrase, maybe a phrase they've heard native speakers use. They maybe heard it in a movie. Maybe they have native speaker friend that they heard them say that, "I'll have a water." So that they think, oh, that's a natural phrase, so they try to use it, and the chatbot tell them it's wrong. Well, so now it's going to think it's only confusion, starts analyzing the grammar when they use article, well, do I with the word water? Well, formal, written, academic kind of English, maybe not, depending on the situation. But it certainly is focused, we say it all the time, which the truth is, it's just a short way of saying, "I want a glass of water." We cut off glass of water, or just say a water, right? Because a natural speaking, which you fragments, sentence fragments, it's just a little phrase, not full sentences. We want to do super long sentences sometimes. This will break all these so-called grammar rules and real natural speech. Okay, you want to focus on communication, not perfection, not some artificial academic type of rules. Maybe those rules might be helpful for formal writing, but not for speaking. They will destroy your speaking. Textbooks are fake. So how do you do it? Let's talk about a 4-step method. Here's a 4-step method to improve your speaking and kind of, we'll call it trauma, English trauma. It's the joke that a lot of my members and students, the phrase they use. I have English trauma. It's going to all this rule, and now they're thinking, they get all stressed out when they're trying to speak and say, "I have an English trauma." I say, how do I heal my English trauma? Excuse me. So here's the 4-step method. Number 1, listen. Focus on listening. At least 80% of your focus and time with English should be listening. And you can do, it's not forever, but certainly for only 6 months. Number 2, you focus on phrases, not individual words. Certainly not grammar rules. So natural phrases that you hear, like in audio or lesson that you're listening to any international listen, and you might hear that phrase, "I have a water." Great, use that. You might write it down, study it, practice it. So don't worry, don't analyze it. Oh, wait, what should I say? So the first, just like to the chatbot, sometimes I get students, non-native speaker, to try to correct my grammar. You're not supposed to use in this situation. It's just like, they're so paralyzed. They're so programmed with all this grammar stuff, they can't recognize the real natural language that we use in real life. It doesn't matter if it's correct or not. It's how we actually speak. It doesn't matter if it's correct according to a book. Number 3, you're going to use point of view stories, the kind of lesson that certainly certainly my Power in the course, my main courses uses, and also many of my VIP lessons use this as well. And the point of view is basically it's a lesson where you listen to a story and it's told from different point of view in time from the grammar change. So for example, when maybe the present, because I'm going to store and I'm getting, a loaf of bread, and then the story continues. Then you hear that same story again. Now it's about the past, like already happened, right? I went to the store, I bought a loaf of bread. Of course, you notice that yes, the verb tenses to change, but you don't need to analyze. You don't want to analyze the root. Now, that's a simple past, and now this is the present. All that's a progressive. All that is just noise in your brain that creates an interference that will hurt your fluency. You should listen to it. You listen to it, notice the pattern, just kind of sink in after a while. Focus on the most common pattern first, okay? A lot of students get focused on all these, super complicated, difficult grammar points. For example, like, I would have been hungry if I had not eaten. That's very complex, and trying to figure out how to use that in what rule to apply. You don't need that, okay? You can just focus on the real simple stuff, like talking about the past, talking about now, talk about the future. That will get you very, very, very far. And once you can do those three basic things automatically, effortlessly, very naturally, then the more advanced type of grammar patterns will become more understandable and more easy for you to use without memorizing rules. Okay, and I found so many students who have completely changed their speaking in about 6 months by following that 4-step method, right? Because they come frustrated, their minds are freezing up, they know so many grammar rules. They can explain grammar rules better than I can, okay? Some with like a linguist. But when they speak, they're terrible. Then the child just stop studying grammar, they get the same message from me, and they're so frustrated, they finally decide, I'm going to kind of try it. Maybe they don't even believe it. They learn the whole life, they must study grammar, but say, I'm not going to try it. They have years and years of doing this other way. They tried it. They do, 30 days, 6 months, and they start to feel a change, start to see a big change. And then, after about 6 months, it's like the words start to come out much more fluently. And another nice benefit of this, you start to relax more when you speak. It's not attention, there's less nervousness, less stress. You could not just think about everything or worrying about being perfect dramatically all the time. So burn your grammar books, burn your textbook, burn them. Cut a little, take them outside, put a barbecue, a little gasoline on them, leg it up. Say, this is the end of grammar study for me. That would be nice. It's really, people actually done, they say they kind of like a joke, but a student actually do it. If you actually do it, send me a picture like on Instagram or something. Tag me on Instagram. I'm at the Effortless English Club on Instagram. Sincerely, 30-day commitment. Do this. 30 days. Just try it for 30 days. If you don't quite believe me or not quite sure, try it for 30 days. See what happens. So here's your challenge. Number 1, for 30 days, listen to natural, real English 1 hour a day. Don't focus on reading. Don't worry about speaking. And please don't memorize vocab. And do not study grammar rules, trying to forget them. Number 2, you only focus on the natural phrases. As you listen to things, you might notice a little phrases you hear. You might pop out. It's interesting or useful. You can write those down if you want to, or just notice them and keep listening. And number 3, the big one, stop analyzing grammar. This is a tough habit to break. It's such a habit you're so used to analyzing and think about grammar rules. You might need 30 days or more to break this habit, but do your best. When you notice your son just think about grammar, just turn it off and relax. And number 4, accept mistakes. Okay, when you make a mistake speaking, just don't even try to correct it. Okay, don't stop yourself and say no. And try to go back and change the verb. Just leave it, let it go. We don't make mistake. Okay. According to the AI bots, Native speakers are constantly making mistakes all the time. Who cares? Okay, focus on communication. Commit to this 30-day challenge of just doing this thing, listening an hour a day. Focus on alternate phrases, no rules. Stop analyzing, break that mental habit, and accept your mistakes. Relax and just let the mistake come out. Don't worry about them at all. Okay, this is the truth about grammar to destroy your speaking. Grammar study, grammar memorization. It creates hesitation, right? That sounds when you're speaking. Creates anxiety, nervousness, the tension when you try to speak. Terrible. Natural learning works best. You want to go into all the research. I believe this website is sdcrashon.com. Check it out. And then just listen. Focus on natural phrases, forget the rules. Commit, don't quit. All right. That is the end of the first session of this topic. Wow. Tối qua mình ngủ đủ giấc và hôm nay mình uống cà phê và hôm nay mình cảm thấy tỉnh táo vãi cái trường. Nãy giờ 23 phút rồi á. Hôm nay cảm thấy như là hôm nay cảm thấy rất là dễ nhá. Có hôm nhá, có những hôm mà cảm thấy mệt mệt đấy, là cứ nói như này và cứ nhìn đồng hồ chỉ trông cho đến cái thời gian mà mình được nghỉ là để nghỉ thôi. Mà hôm nay mình cảm thấy tốt quá. Yeah. Hôm nay tôi cảm thấy tốt, cảm thấy effortless. Duy trì thôi, quan trọng là đều đặn, đúng không? Chìa khóa là đều đặn. The key is consistency. Chìa khóa là phải đều đặn đó mọi người. Ok, hôm nay đã là 27 phút rồi. Mỗi ngày một chút. Và ngày mai lại gặp hai bạn nha. À không phải, gặp mọi người chứ hai bạn nào không? Chỉ có 2 người xem thôi hả? Ok, 2 người xem. Những ngày đầu tiên của mình. Có khi nào sau này mình sẽ có một kênh podcast vài triệu người xem không ta? Giấc mơ không mất tiền đúng không? Ta nói như nào ta? Giấc mơ không bị đánh phí à? Kiểu vậy. Ok, gặp mọi người vào tối mai nha. Cảm ơn.